Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Pink Sock Reacts, where we watch a movie or listen to music or whatever, and we review it and we let you know what we thought of it. We talk about the movie or music in its entirety and just break it down. Today, we're going to be reviewing yet another Christmas classic. This is a Christmas horror movie, Better Watch Out. And if you guys enjoy this podcast, go hit that subscribe button and hit that share button, get our subscriber list up so we can get our merch shop open. Once we hit, let's say 1,000 subscribers, we will finally be able to get that merch shop open. Gorak, are you ready to talk about this movie?
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, this movie was wild and crazy and funny and bloody. And
Before we get completely into the movie, I'd like to give a little bit of a stat about this movie. The movie did receive an approval rating of 89% based on 65 reviews with an average rating of 6.9 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. This movie was shot in Sydney, Australia.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
It was originally set to be filmed in South Carolina for $500,000. However, the Australian producer offered a $3 million budget to shoot the film in Australia instead. So
Nice.
that's a fun little thing. It was shot in Australia, but I think the movie takes place in America.
Yeah.
So this movie is not what I thought it was going to be because I didn't watch the commercial. I just watched the movie. And Greg told me it's like Home Alone meets The Babysitter. What I thought this movie was, and we will get into what it is. It kind of leads you astray a little bit. What I thought it was is like people broke into the house, tried killing them or whatever. Now, the movie, when it starts off, it's about this lady. Her name is Ashley. She is on her way to babysit Luke. And she goes to the house and she's hanging out with the parents, which I find it funny that Patrick, how do you pronounce his name? The guy that played Joe in Family Guy. He played the dad, and the mom for some reason.
Peter Griffin?
No, Peter Warburger, I think is his name.
Oh, I think so. Anyway.
Patrick Warburton is his name.
Okay.
Sorry, I butchered his name. He was the guy that plays Joe in Family Guy. He talks like this. He plays Luke's dad. And for some reason, the mom thinks he might be gay. I don't understand that little storyline. I really don't. But they leave, and she's babysitting Luke. Now, Luke thinks he might have a chance with her. But she has a boyfriend. I forget his name, Ricky. Her boyfriend, Ricky, keeps calling the house. Luke, who is 12 years old, I believe, and she is I'd say 16, 17 in the movie. She's older
17.
She's older than he is, but they're still both underage, which makes a lot of scenes in this movie weird, like really weird.
Yeah.
But this kid is got a hold of alcohol and has a horror movie he's going to play, and he told his friend on the phone, his friend Garrett, that, hey, the horror movies higher your dopamine levels. So he's thinking he might get lucky. So he gets alcohol, drinks with her, whatever. She tells him, well, this is kind of like mind games. Ladies, I don't know why you do this. I know that like maybe you think you're complimenting a dude, but don't say shit like this. She said that if I was your age, I would date you.
Yeah.
And then he tries making out with her. She's not for it. She's like, no. And like shoves him off. And a lot of weird things are happening before and during this scene. Like we see shadows in the back. A weird Santa statue ends up in the house. She takes it outside. It ends up outside the window. A brick flies through the window that says, if you leave, you die.
Yeah.
And his friend Garrett ends up coming into the house, and he thinks that he was the one that was outside at first, and before the brick hit the window. Sorry, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But before the brick hit the window, Garrett's in the house. Now it says, if you leave, you die. Garrett's like, I'm getting the hell out of here. So he runs out, gets shot. And she's like, oh my God, he's dead, blah, 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 blah. And they're on the floor. Next thing you know, you hear noises upstairs. They go upstairs. There's a guy with a flashlight and a shotgun walking around. This is kind of the Home Alone thing I kind of thought was going.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you led me astray here, Gorak, by saying that, but this dude's walking around with a shotgun. Luke and his lady friend, his babysitter, Ashley, is walking around. They end up going up into the attic to hide from this man with a shotgun. Luke ends up getting a hold of one of his dad's guns. They end up going, she falls out of the attic, almost dies. He grabs her. They finally come out of the attic. He runs out of the room, tells her, I've got a gun, blah, blah, blah. I'll get this guy. They end up going into his bedroom, hiding in the closet. And in comes this guy with a shotgun. Now, they're all freaking out, but Ashley realizes that mask is one of your masks, Luke. She opens up the door, and it's Garrett. He didn't actually get shot dead. Luke actually was trying to set her up to make him look brave, to try to get with her. I don't know. I thought it was weird, but then I realized how psycho this kid is later in the movie, so it's not weird at all.
Yeah.
But Garrett and him are like arguing. She's like, you're in trouble. Luke ends up knocking her down the steps, knocking her out, and she wakes up duct taped to a chair. I don't think I'm missing any major plot.
No. But like this kid is like, he had everything all planned out. It's like, don't fuck with this kid.
Yeah, don't fuck with this kid. Now she wakes up and she's kind of like fighting to get out. They end up all fighting. Now, there's a lot that goes on in the scene. I'm not going into every little detail, everything that is said. I'm just going to hit the major points of the movie. She ends up, she was texting with her boyfriend. Well, what ends up happening is her boyfriend shows up and is like freaking out. He gets into the house, ends up fighting Luke upstairs. Luke stabs him in the face with a pen.
Yeah.
Beats him with a baseball bat, and this motherfucker fights back. He grabs the baseball bat, tries to fight him.
The stabbing with the pan part was like was pretty crazy to watch.
Yeah, like that was fucking nuts, bro.
Did he stab him in the cheek?
He stabbed him in the fucking cheek, like right here.
Yeah.
Well, he ends up knocking this guy out, and he's strapped to a chair too.
Yeah.
Little bit later, Ashley ends up with a piece of glass, and she's slowly cutting her way out. Each person ends up fighting. They end up grabbing Ricky and dragging him across the floor in the chair and setting him up. And this psychopath grabs a fucking paint can.
Yeah.
And he releases it. Now, it misses him at first. And fucking his friend Garrett's like, you're going to Home Alone him? Like, he's going to die, blah, 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 blah. Ashley ends up getting loose. She still has the chair attached to one arm, but she has a gun. And she's like, fucking stop, you psychopath, blah, 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 blah. He ends up holding the can. She's like, let go. He lets go and fucking boom, hits the guy in the face, and blood and paint everywhere.
Yeah. Good combination.
Good combination. Beautiful color. Well, fast forward, Garrett and Ashley end up fighting. Ashley ends up escaping. She trips over a wire, finds out that gun that shot Garrett was actually a paintball gun, not a real gun. She ends up running, fighting Garrett a little bit. The chair breaks. Now she's holding the arm of the chair. She ends up running, jumping over the fence. Tries getting to the carolers that are outside, but she trips and gets knocked out. And then fast forward, the next scene is all the carolers outside. The psychopath Luke playing the nice guy, giving out cocoa, little cups of cocoa. And we go inside, and she's tied back up to the chair, this time with Christmas lights.
Yeah.
And Garrett's trying to comfort her, and Luke comes in and fucking shoots him with a shotgun. And said, nobody touches her, blah, blah, blah. And Garrett's freaking out and gets shot in the head, and he dies.
Did he get shot in the chest?
The first time in the chest, you don't see where he gets shot the second time.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if his death was first or the next death that I'm going to mention, but her ex was actually called up and showed up. And I think Garrett was still alive during this. If I'm not
Yeah, he was. I think it was the ex-boyfriend that gets killed, and then it's the friend.
okay. The ex-boyfriend gets hung from a tree using a lawnmower.
Yes. Yeah, after he wrote an apology letter,
Yeah, saying that he loves her and shit.
and then wants it back and all that crap.
Yeah.
And
And
then, yeah,
then
it
Luke
got
goes
set
in the
up.
house and kills Garrett. Okay, my timing was a little mixed up. Then he's kind of sitting there with Ashley, and I think he tries kissing her or whatever, and she's still not having it. And he goes behind her. She quits talking altogether. She has no tape on her mouth. She just quits talking. She closes her eyes and just quits talking. Luke takes a blade and it's one of them blades that shoot out. He stabs her in the neck.
Yeah.
And she dies. His parents are on their way home, and he has this tracker on his phone.
Yeah.
On his phone. So he starts setting up the scene to make it look like, from what I saw, he didn't really mention what his game plan was, but it appeared to me that he was setting it up to look like the ex-boyfriend came over, killed the current boyfriend and her while he was asleep.
Yeah.
So he had the whole scene set up. He went upstairs, stuck a pencil in his door, which don't make sense. I didn't
I
understand.
think the pencil on the door was like if he was escaping out of his room
Oh, okay.
or something like that. I might be mistaken, but it was something silly like that.
But he put the pin in the door and he snuck out through the roof, was fighting with lights and shit while his parents are coming home. Kind of comical,
Yeah.
if you ask me. And then he sneaks through his bedroom window. He's laying in bed. His parents come home. They freak the fuck out, as any person would. There's bodies everywhere. The cops show up. Ambulances show up. It's a terrible mess. And they go upstairs and they're comforting him. And then we hear a cop say, "We have a survivor."
Mm.
And lo and behold, he looks out the window and there's Ashley.
Yeah.
And apparently she used duct tape to hold her wound in and prevent her from bleeding out. And she's sitting there. The old school, you remember like when Vince McMahon flipped off Stone Cold in the stretcher? He did that. She did that number. And then the movie, I was pissed, but the movie ended.
Yeah.
We don't get to see what happened to Luke, if she spilled the beans. It kind of, in my opinion, set up for a sequel.
I think so. It looks like it was set up for a sequel, but it's probably one of those endings is like, you know, what happened now? Like,
Yeah, like, because it is a psychological horror movie, so it could have just been like, what happened? Like,
but it was like, but he was pretty smart with this whole thing and how he wanted it, you know. But like, what about the scene where he tied her up and he's like, "Oh, you gotta let me touch your boob" or something like that. Then he like grabbed it.
Yeah, I forgot about that scene. They
It's
kind of like assaulted her in that way, and
that
it was very, very weird because they were kids.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why Garrett got shot, because earlier on in the movie he tried kissing her or whatever, and he's like, "Only me." Like,
yeah, because I think he gotten over it. I think he had enough of the whole prank thing.
Yeah. Garrett started could have been a good guy. But
then he got shot.
Yeah, he could have been the guy to like go tell, but I think he was just too afraid. I don't know if it was like his character kind of remind me of Matthew Lillard's character in Scream.
Yes, but the younger version.
Yeah, where he was a psychopath, but he realized it was going too far, but it was too late by the time it got to that point.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I seriously think what happened.
Yeah. But this whole movie, when I think I discovered this movie through a podcast on YouTube. They were doing like a kill count. And I was like looking for like movies to watch during the, you know, Christmas holidays break last year, and I bought it digitally and watched it, and I loved it.
This movie didn't have a very big kill count. I
Like
don't
four?
There was Garrett. There was
ex-boyfriend?
Ashley didn't even die. The
No.
ex-boyfriend
The friend?
and the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Three. There was three.
Which is pretty cool, though. Like, if it just went on a full rampage,
Yeah,
it'd just be pretty boring a little bit.
Like, it wasn't boring, but like the movie wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Did you do that shit on purpose by telling me it's like Home Alone? Did you do that because of the beginning of the movie where it kind of made you wonder what the movie's about? You son of a bitch.
I told you, this movie is like Home Alone. But violent. That's how I saw it too after when I first watched it. Because someone at work was like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "Oh, you better watch out. It's like a violent version of Home Alone."
The movie really it wasn't like the guy getting hit with a paint can was violent, but you don't actually see.
No, you only just see the aftermath, like just the splat of the paint and blood, and that's
Like
it.
the most you see is the back of his head. Like because he like asked about that wound and he was trying to fix it, but you don't actually see it. Even when Garrett got shot, you see the blood and him holding the wound, but you don't actually see his death. When Ashley got killed, she got stabbed in the neck, but you don't really see it. Like a lot of the violence in this movie is kind of like a House of a Thousand Corpse type violence or Devil's Rejects, where it's like more suggested than actual full-blown violence.
Yeah, true.
Which is very interesting. And this movie really keeps you on the edge of your seat. So what would you rank it?
Out of 10?
Out of 10.
7.
7? I'd give it about a 7 too. It was a great fucking film, dude.
I'd watch it again. I've seen it like maybe 3 times already.
Oh, by the way, I'm not gonna see you before then, probably. So you do have a birthday on the 10th.
Yeah.
So happy early birthday. Everybody wish Gorak a happy birthday.
I'm old now.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
2 more days.
To you. I hope you have an amazing birthday, Greg. You deserve it, man.
Yeah, man. I'm not working. I took a day off from work for the first time in 5 years on my birthday.
Like, I truly appreciate, I know I say this a lot, and I know I'm a little overbearing when I say this, but I want people to know that I appreciate them. I appreciate everything you do for the show, Greg. You wake up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the fucking morning to do a podcast and talk to some random fucker from Ohio, and I appreciate it.
No, it's fun, dude. Like, it's a good way of meeting new people. You know, when I went to the Ginger concert last week, I told a couple of people in the pit about it.
Dude, should I get you business cards?
Yeah.
Like, I was going to get business cards made so we can start handing out. But guys, if you like this podcast, we are a word of the mouth podcast. So you got to hit that share button. You got to hit that subscribe button. You got to get us going because we got this. We are the best podcast named Pink Sock Podcast. Like, we are.
And I have a pink pillow. Like, come on, man.
I got a pink mug.
Yeah.
But that
if
was.
If only Leatherface was pink.
That was Better Watch Out. A great fucking psychological thriller / horror / slasher, I think is what you'd also consider it. It's a little bit of everything. It's Christmas. What are we doing next week, Gorak? It is your choice because I chose the last 2. You get to choose this one and the next one.
Didn't I pick last week's one as well?
Last week's was one that I picked, I think.
What was last week?
Last week was... I get so fucking lost with time, bro, that I fucking forget. But I will have it here in a split second. If I can fucking get it up.
Krampus?
I think we did Krampus last time. So you did pick... No, we did Gremlins last week. That was my choice.
Okay. I was gonna say we should do Violent Night because I'm pretty sure that's streaming on HBO Max
Is it
or
that new?
Hulu.
Is it that new action movie starring the dude from? I'm really bad with actual names sometimes, but
Yeah,
it's the guy from Stranger Things.
yeah. Um, there's been a lot of good reviews on it, man. I was supposed to go and see it on my birthday with a mate, but we rescheduled to next week. But
Yeah, we can do Violent Night as long as I can find it streaming in the United States.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Hulu.
But I would like to do eventually, and I know it's not Christmassy right now, but I'd like to eventually review the Chucky TV series.
That's yeah. The last episode of season 2 is a Christmas special.
Violent Night is not available for streaming near me.
Not yet?
Not yet, no.
Oh, okay.
It's not available anywhere, dude. I can't even buy it.
Yeah. It's just in theaters.
Yeah, it's just in theaters, which I could probably go to the theaters, but I'm going to be broke.
Yeah.
It's Christmas time, bro. I haven't even bought gifts yet. Because when I was sick for that week, bro, I couldn't get gifts. Because I can barely afford bills right now.
Christmas is so expensive.
But guys, thank you for tuning in. As always, hit that subscribe button. We love you all. And as always, live long, rock hard. We'll see you guys next week. Stay tuned on our social medias to see what we got planned for next week. And of course, Wednesday, we're going to do Violent Night if we can. If not, we will post what we are going to do. Love you all, and as always, live long, rock hard.
Whee!